Nation.
A.T. Miller sends one in. Wild back for it. Hartman turned it over. Fox up high. Gavrikov a lane. Fired in front. They score. Trocheck with his stick down. Gavrikov fooled everyone with a slap pass to the slots. Just like that, it's 4-1. Stolarz couldn't get it with his goal stick. Eriksson Ek, bottom of the right circle. Swerves it up high. Hughes loads. Fires a drive blocked. Nyes chips the center. A foot race. Nyes and Hughes. Nyes gets there, and he scores. Matthew Nyes, the former Golden Gopher, seals this one up potentially for Toronto with a half minute to go.
Matty Nyes, though.
That's unbelievable. You got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
Little puck talk.
With Pat Micheletti at PatMick2626 via the X Machine. How about before we get into the world of hockey, how about our main man, KG, Kevin Gorg? The TPC just took place. He wins the Canterbury Press Box TPC draft and the Power Trip draft thanks to Cameron Young. That's a heck of a scoop and couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. But if I were him and want to maintain the friendship that you and I both have with him, I might want to suggest to him that he take us to lunch or something.
Why would that be?
Well,
I mean, he didn't beat me by a nose, and you were eliminated pretty much the time that we started drafting golfers.
You don't have to rub it in. I mean,
I'm playing. No, Mick,
there was a point where I was not going to have one guy make it to the weeds.
Exactly. It's inside baseball. It's inside the weeds. But when you sent that sad text Friday, not even close to the cut, you're like, guys, I think there's a chance all 6 of my golfers are going to miss the cut.
I always love that one.
I'm like, damn.
But then I end up, I'm in contention for the overall winner. I mean, Bobby Mack, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he almost did make the cut.
Yeah.
And then he was so close to winning the tournament.
Yeah, sure he was. Yeah, that's what I thought about something called Brian Harmon.
I always love that one.
For about 5 minutes, okay? So KG, very, very, very well done.
No, I'm very happy for him. Don't get me wrong.
I understand. Now we need to get KG's hockey team going. Losers of 3 in a row. With the Wild, paint with a broad brush. You're an elite hockey mind, and you're on the mural at Mariucci. What's happening?
Well, here's the deal, Paul, and I know a lot of people are very upset and not happy with, the past 3 games. I am a big picture guy, and I go back to October. Well, boy, oh boy, this team's not even gonna, they may not win a game. And then I go to November, and they don't lose a game. And so, we see that throughout the year where you get on a little roll, you get off that roll, and, but for the majority of this season, this team has been really consistent. That being said, we're at the end of the year. How many games left? 15 games, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be playing your best hockey going, into the playoffs. They've had a little misstep in their last 3. They've got new players on their team. And as I alluded to on Beyond the Pond on Saturday, before the Ranger game, I said, listen, when you have new guys, you've got, there's step 1, get them here. Step 2, get them, implemented into the regiment of how this team works, and then 3 on the ice, and that part, again, is going to take a little time to get roles figured out, and how they're going to roll into the playoffs. So that being said, I'm not going to get overly concerned about the last 3 games. Now, if this continues in the next 5, 6, or 7 games, I'll be really concerned as I was concerned going into the playoffs last year, because I didn't think they were playing well going into the playoffs. So, let's see how this materializes in the next 4 to 5, 6 games. And then, I think they're going to be fine. I like what they have. But it just needs a little bit time to roll itself into that.
Mr. McTockett, Pat Micheletti, help me and those of us who are not exactly sure how what I'm about to explain happened to lead to Toronto's third goal yesterday. All right, so Matt Boldy, one of the very best players in the NHL, love him on the squad, 10 of 10. Not everybody's perfect, but I may be seeing this incorrectly. So he's in the corner, all right, and was he trying to whip a pass to Eriksson Ek, or did he just blindly send it to the center of the ice for like the easiest third goal in the history of third goals?
No, that's your outlet to the center of the ice. When you're in the corner like that, if you don't have to, you don't want to throw it up the boards because it's more difficult to get out. If you're looking just to chip it out, fine, but your outlet is the middle of the ice, and if you watch, more often than not, that is that's your play if you can make it. And he threw it out. And I don't know from TV whether Eriksson Ek missed it, if it was too fast of a pass where it went, just off just a little bit, or if it, jumped over Eriksson Ek's stick.
Okay.
It was the right play. Because Ek gets it, they're out of the zone and they're starting to rush. And so, that was just an unfortunate play for how it ended up.
Okay, now I brought this up to you before, and this is FEMA, Fairness in Johnny the Mouse Mickelson Act, because he put it on me years ago, and it's bearing fruit. I mean, in negative fashion, but Matty Nyes, he sealed it all up last night with the empty netter. He's a former Gopher by way of the Arizona Junior Coyotes program. So let's start here. Was he a dominating Golden Gopher when he played here for Motzko?
100% he was. He was a man amongst boys, and you watch him play with the tenacity that he plays with. Yes, to answer your question, 100% he was.
Okay, thank you. So 2021 NHL entry draft. Nyes goes 57th to Toronto. We selected 3 players ahead of him. And I'm generally not, I don't dwell on the past, man, okay? But it reared its ever ugly head yesterday when he outworked Husey to get the puck and then out-sprint him for the empty netter to seal the deal. We selected 3 players ahead of Matty Nyes. Volstad at 20, Carson Lambos at 26, Jack Peart at 54. With respect to these guys in Iowa, it would be cool if one of those picks had gone the way of Nyes. I mean, they're both with the Iowa Wild, and I don't know, maybe they're late developers, but it just continues to bug me a little bit.
Bugs me too, but that being said, and when those guys are getting drafted, they are raw, very raw, and it's really by luck. It really is, because you don't know how they're going to develop, and you're guessing. They're all guessing. Well, we see this guy in 3 years being X, Y, or Z, and at that particular time, they probably felt Peart was the guy that was ahead in terms of their thought process of how fast this kid could develop and what he could develop into. And, Matty Nyes may have not been, the player that we projected now, right? Meaning, maybe he wasn't as good a skater, or maybe he didn't play with the tenacity that he does now. But that quickly turned when he got to Minnesota, and, look what he's turned out to be. So, in fairness to the teams drafting, it's all a crapshoot, really, when you're drafting after, and even when you guys in the first round. There's been a lot of busts in the first round, but so it's really difficult. Hockey's really, really difficult when you're drafting players and hoping what they potentially are going to be.
All right, this is good.
Mick, talk it.
Thus, it's a Steve's Appliances Marathon, stevesappliances.com. We have a 50th anniversary sale taking place right now. Go to the website, please, if you're looking for appliances. If you'd like to save up to 50% on select appliances that are the bomb. With fast delivery, free recycling, and guaranteed low prices, shop local. Buy more, save more. stevesappliances.com.
Hey, Patrick, early on, you mentioned, hey, we got some new guys in the mix here. We're trying to build some chemistry and just kind of the conversation. It's so nice with this depth being built that there might be a different guy in the press box every night, but iron sharpens iron. Nobody wants to be up there. So team's going to be better. What have you thought of some of these guys? I mean, Brink, I think he gets nicked up in the Mammoth game, so I don't think we've seen him since, but he gets that goal in the blowout win over Utah. McCarron in the mix. Like, what do you think about some of these new guys? Despite the results of the game, what are we getting from the guys that Guerin added before the deadline?
Well, I think, Nordo, I think there was a pivot put on right at the trade deadline. They didn't want to pay what was being offered in return for a number one center. And quite frankly, I don't think Trocheck is a number one center. I think he's more, he's not that offensive juggernaut. Yeah, he can do a lot of things, but he's not your true number one center. So I want to eliminate that right away. Okay. And what they would have had to pay to get him, I wouldn't have done it. And so I think the pivot was put on. They acquired Foligno. They had gotten McCarron. So that tells me, okay, you know what? We feel like we have enough scoring up front with Kaprizov, Ek, Boldy, Johansson, not Johansson as of late, but you get where I'm going. And so I think he thought, okay, that bottom six, we're going to be hard to play against. We're going to be bigger. We're going to be stronger. And we're just going to be a beast to play against. So I think that was the mindset of Guerin once he realized that he wasn't going to be able to get a number one center. And so, and that's why I'm like, okay, let Marcus Foligno get back in the lineup. Get your lines how you want them for the playoffs, where you have your scoring lines and then you have your tough, hard, not going to give up anything, be able to chip in, make it difficult for the other team to get in the offensive zone because, you're just beast down in the offensive zone. And so I think that was the mindset of Bill Guerin. Now, we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out, right? We're going to have to see if the lineup, when it's truly formed, is going to be. And that's the unknown. I kind of like what their thought process is, but again, we're going to have to see how it plays out, and that's why I say I'm a big picture guy. When you look at what the thought process is going into the playoffs and who they have to play against in the first two rounds.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you believe, Pat, that we have enough scoring up front? And in the end, we went over this, whether it was Trocheck, you see what the Avs gave up for Kadri, et cetera. I mean, those that wanted to add at the deadline were going to pay an absolute premium. And Guerin, by all accounts, maybe smartly stayed out of the mix. And that's cool. And if something big pops this summer, we'll all be like, man, it's a good thing we didn't get Vinny. However, do you think we currently have enough scoring 12th or so in the league in terms of goals per game? You see moments where, in both the Flyers game and the Rangers game, you get goals from Boldy. So we're going to need a lot of that from Matt. But then in the mix, yesterday's a good example where you're just kind of grinding your way to tallies with the Tarasenko. And if it's not working up front, it's hard for me and maybe a lot of people to see where these goals are going to come from if those top line high flyers aren't doing their thing.
I do because of Quinn Hughes. And I say that, he's got 40 points in 35 games, right? Something like that
not bad.
with the Wild. And so I think you're going to have to get, continue to get offense from your defense. But up front, the guys I mentioned, they're counted on to score goals. And typically, your top two lines are the guys that are expected to score. Now, that being said, once they get, their lines how they want them to be in the system that they want them to play in the playoffs, you know what? You might, and we've seen, Nick Foligno get his chances, right? And so I think, yes, to answer your question, I do believe they have enough. And so I'm confident in that phase of the game.
Let me hit you with this.
Mick, talk it.
Is maybe, or like how would you analyze the chance they've become too comfortable with their lots in life? And what I mean is they know they get the Stars or Avalanche round one, and that they won't have home ice advantage. So maybe human nature is registering hat tricks on us, and we're missing just that little extra with the details and to win games.
Well, that'd be a problem, and you have to look at it, from this perspective. Are they defending? Are they getting the goaltending? Are they getting enough scoring up front? And so it's all encompassing. It's not just one thing or the other. To win a championship, you need all of those things going, particularly defending and not letting in a bad goal. And so, I think those are the important things. If they defend well, I like what they have. I think they have enough up front to be able to handle it, but they've got to defend well. They cannot give up bad goals. And I think that'll be the key in the playoffs. And that goes back to the thinking, Paul, of, okay, they added a Nick Foligno, guy's been in the league for a long time, knows how to play. And, and then a bigger guy, like McCarron, who can eat up some minutes and maybe contribute just a little bit, not a lot, but, a little bit. And so, if you can get something out of your third and fourth lines, and make sure that those guys are really, really hard to play against, then I like it. I like it.
Who do you prefer round one and why? Dallas or Colorado?
Pick your poison. Am I scared of either team? No, because, they have their warts too. I mean, if you get on Colorado's defense, they do not have, size-wise, the biggest defense. That's always been my problem kind of with the Wild. I thought, if you forecheck and get hard on the Minnesota defense, it's going to be tough. And I think if you pound and pound and pound Colorado's defense, well, that's going to take away what Colorado can do offensively. Now, the depth of Dallas, I like a lot, and a healthy Heiskanen is it makes their team even better. And so, and Ottinger has not been great as of late. So, I'm not afraid of either team because I think we can match up well with both teams.
Time for a few more for Pat Micheletti at Pat Mick 2626. It's a hockey thing in the state of hockey. Why were things so rough for Motzko's team this season?
Well, in my opinion, and Bob has stated it, I think he made the decision to honor the commitments that he made to the young guys that were coming in. I think 2 or 3 of them should have spent another year in junior. He opted not to go to the portal and go after the Western League kids or the Ontario Hockey League kids that were eligible, that were high-end players. He didn't do that, and it took a while. These young kids improved, and I like them a lot, but I don't think some were ready yet. And when you average under 3 goals a game in college hockey, you're just not going to win. And that's the first thing. Secondly, they didn't have an offensive defenseman, which absolutely killed them. If you are going to win in college hockey, you need at least 1 or 2 offensive defensemen. If you do not have that, you're not going to generate any offense, and that was a problem all year. Now, they defended very well this year, and they got really good goaltending. But you need to get to 3 or more goals, and that was a problem for them all year.
Who do you like in the NCAA basketball tournament? The 1 seeds are Arizona, Florida, Duke, and Michigan.
I've been on Florida. I've kind of switched a little bit. I think Arizona has found their game. I like them a lot. Duke intrigues me. With the Boozers, I like them. So I'm going to go either Arizona or Duke to win it. How about
Mick,
yourself?
Talk it.
No idea, but I'll formulate.
No idea?
No, I don't golf.
I know
I don't watch golf. I don't follow golf. Yet
all you do is win.
Well, when we get in these little tournaments, I've done okay over the years. So I have a system. I have a formula, and I
know you do, and you have yet to reveal anything for one of your good friends, your formula.
Yeah, but I haven't.
Don't you want to share the wealth?
Of course, especially with Mick Tockett. But I haven't won an NCAA tournament pool since I went back to back one year with Joakim Noah, Torian Green, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, and those Gators when they were beaten like Scooney Penn, Greg Oden, and Ohio State. So I got no idea. You're the absolute best, and may God bless you and your family. Stay healthy, and I look forward to the next time we chat. All right.
Talk soon. Thank you, guys.
See you, bud. Pat Micheletti, beloved Mick Tockett, 9 to noon. Sneaking up on the second half of the radio presentation, some talkbacks coming up around the corner. Then News du Nord, then Arizona Cardinals radio play-by-play voice Dave Pasch, who also calls games for ESPN and ABC in the NBA. He called Wolves and OKC yesterday. He was courtside. So Dave Pasch about 30 minutes from now. Back after this.
Play some talkbacks here momentarily, but I do want to get this in people's ears. Catch every tournament upset and every highlight with KFAN at Hop House during the tourney, of course. Join Max Fuller, Zach Halverson. They're doing Bracket Bash watch parties this Friday, tipping off at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Catch college hoops on the big screens with prizes flowing all day, including 65-inch TVs. Get all the details today, KFAN.com. Keyword calendar. Remember when a 65-inch TV would be like $5,000-$6,000?
Mm-hmm.
And now TV's gone. They've become very, very much consumable products. It feels like you can go to Best Buy and pick up a TV for like $400 or $500 maybe these days.
I'm sorry, I only heard Best Buy 65 inches. Why? Because I'm feverishly researching something called Damon Claiborne, where a reliable football mind has informed the world the Minnesota Vikings are going to include, and this is assuming uninformed football mind is accurate, Wake Forest running back Damon Claiborne.
Ooh.
is going to be making a top 30 visit to the Minnesota Vikings in front of the draft. Damon Claiborne. I'm feverishly trying to figure out exactly who he is.
Do they do the big, like the top 30 dinner bit in Egan where they have a bunch of potential prospects in one spot at the same time, or is it trickle in with the independent workouts and such?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to say no. I believe it is at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, dog and pony show, best facility in the NFL, which it is. Some players, coaches, executives, media members who like come in to cover games and stuff. Mike Tirico is the A topic, because when the Vikings have a home game on Sunday Night Football, Tirico, Collinsworth, Melissa Stark, and that group, they arrive Thursday or Friday morning. They go to the Friday practice, and then they're here the weekend. So I'll get a chance to chat with Mike extensively during a Vikings practice on Friday. Ooh. He said it a million times. This one's nice. That's nice. This is the Taj Mahal of National Football League facilities. And that matters to players, but specifically rookies. So I'm going to say, no, it's not like it used to be at Bear Path in Eden Prairie. Okay. Maybe Olympic Hills. But the reason I'm stammering a bit is because, sadly, I wouldn't know. Because as of like 4 or 5 years ago, I no longer hosted. It used to be a dinner. And like I'd say a few words and introduce some people. Never O'Connell, never Quasey. But man, from a 9 to noon standpoint, with them knowing they can trust me, and that I'm not going to overshare, and the last place I'm going to go is social media and share something. I mean, it's kind of informative to see Shaq Thompson and Devontae Parker arrive late, and then Shaq Thompson just look at his phone for about 2 minutes while Mark Wilf was talking to him, and then me like tapping him on the shoulder saying, you do know this is like co-owner of the team, right?
I always love that one.
Yeah. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shaq. So I kind of missed that. But I don't think it's the big ballyhoo dinner thing anymore.
I didn't mean to bring up such a tough subject.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Just the lamenting and cool facility.
Yeah, great. Hey, did you hear that I said the Wild will beat the Flyers by 2 or 3 last Thursday?
I always love that one.
Well, if you missed it, Mad Producer shared it about 2 seconds into the radio show just to pile on.
Podcastable free iHeartRadio app from the Thursday show, Vox in the Box at Tria. I think we're doing that again this week, aren't we? I think we might be doing that on Thursday.
Really?
More to come on that, I believe. We'll see.
I'm in.
This is, let's go to the talkback machine. You offered up a couple, who's gripping more, Wild or Wolves? Admittedly, the talkbacks have been very Kyler-specific, Kyler-centric.
Yeah, my talkbacks were a little flimsy.
It's all good. We'll Talker Tuesday tomorrow. This is the warm-up to the Talker Tuesday. But one way or another, people are hot on Kyler.
This is Mark from Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi, Mark.
Live in Arizona, feel in Minnesota.
Okay.
My main concern with Kyler Murray is that he hasn't been able to stay on the field, so we basically have 2 quarterbacks that can't stay healthy and stay on the field. Go Vikings.
Other than that, Miss Lincoln, how was the play?
My favorite thing, and I don't want people to change this, but sometimes when you say it, they think that I'm judging, that I'm indicting them, that it's negative. Mm-hmm. I love when the talkbacks, you can tell, like Vikings, you get up to 30 seconds. They'll get like 20 into it. Yep. And they're like, all right, well, I'm kind of all out of my take. That was easy. What should I do here? It's still record. Skol Vikings. Go Vikings. Yep. He just daggered Kyler Murray's health. It sounds like we have 2 quarterbacks that can't play. Go Vikings.
Well, I
love it.
With Kyler Murray, here is a key, because until we know or hear and delicately and fairly share what his tendencies are with certain things, then it's a lot of it's hyperbole. Most of it is speculation off what people have heard or has been reported from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Here's what I mean. When Kyler gets nicked up, because Kyler gets nicked up, how does he handle it? Does he play through it? Is he the kind where he's 3.5 of 10 hurt, but he makes it sound like it's 8.5 out of 10? simply because he knows there's an opportunity to scoop chips and stand on the sideline. I'm really, really, really hoping that ain't him. But until we start seeing how certain facets of the under the rate, okay, yes, he can run. Runs like the wind. We know that. Everybody knows that. Good arm, accurate. We all know that. Playing with the best left tackle with whom he's ever played. Yes. Playing with a 1-1A receiver situation that is maybe the best, if not as good as he's ever had. Yes, we know that. This Flores defense, really no matter the components, but you got to have about a good 3, 4, 5 key components in there. Maybe the best with which he's ever played to protect him and complement the offense. All right, we check that box. We all in box checking fashion know that. But with Kyler Murray, when he gets nicked up, when he gets banged up, how does he handle it? Does he push through it? Is he a tough guy?
Yeah.
I mean, as much as people, either want to shove it to the side or ignore it or say it was a non-player, and as embarrassing and stupid as it was, when a National Football League team actually puts in your contract something involving a video game compared to film study and work up to a game.
Yeah, mandatory prep each week. Yeah.
Thank you. Honestly, where he had to show his work, or it was,
Yeah, I don't have the verbiage in front of me, but effectively that's
I'm trying to find a way to describe it, because I don't want to say it's ludicrous and stupid they put it in there, because clearly there were person or people so wound up knowing what is or is not happening behind the scenes. They actually put that in that man's contract. Which is as foolish gets.
An independent study clause.
There we go. But you know what? If it was as bad as some may think it was, it contractually needed to be agreed upon to make sure the first overall pick in the draft, who was an offensive rookie of the year, actually had that in his clause. So is it them being completely stupid and bullying him? Or was there a lack of study habits, a lack of preparation, a lack of time utilization?
Yeah.
Were there problems? There had to have been problems. We just may not know exactly what they were,
I do know that. From the injury standpoint, when he gets nicked up, how does he handle it? That's a fair question. The only thing I'll say, and I'm not minimizing this because this, if it continues to happen, would be a trend. He tore his ACL. This wasn't a lingering, high ankle sprain or something like that. He ripped his knee up.
Yeah.
And so that missed the back half of 22 and then the first half of 23. And then he got a foot injury last year and he was gone for the season. So there wasn't, it doesn't sound like, at least in the framework of his career. Now it's 2 of the last 3 years, by the way. So that's potentially problematic. So anybody that's, hey, health is a concern, I'm with you 100%. However, it doesn't feel like, the study habit's one thing, but when he's able to make the dances, he plays the games.
Yeah.
So I don't want his knee to get torn up. But it seems like when he gets hurt, it's hurt for size.
Yes.
Sadly, we've seen that 2 of the last 3 years, of course,
right.
which bears concern. Absolutely.
And until proven otherwise, the individual nobody knows facing certain accusations that are not born of being told by owner, general manager, or head coach of a football team that's X amount thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
It's born of speculation. So in the love covenant, in the Kyler covenant, the individual gets the benefit of the doubt until things are proven out the other way.
Sure.
In other words, yeah, he could play, but you know what? He's just, whatever. Oh, okay. Until things start to emerge, like that never happened with Darnold. It's Darnold. We all remember the whole narrative from the Jets to Carolina, back up for the Niners, the 9 to noon flip and take, while people would go overboard on this is awful. I can't believe you're doing this. He's an absolute bust. 9 to noon would flip it with FISA, Fairness and Sam Darnold Act. All right. Yeah, he hasn't been very good during the course of his career. But if you think throwing to Robbie Anderson, if you think he's throwing to Robbie Anderson and Tommy Tremble here, with Matt Rule calling the plays, holding up a college football placard with Ronald McDonald, Adrian Barbeaux, Post Malone, and Nicole Kidman in a bottom right box, and that's the play. That ain't the case here. They do things a little differently here, and so therefore he gets the benefit of the doubt there. And when you're selected third overall, you have things to your skill set that just may have been suppressed.
Yeah.
And that's the exact what I think. I'm not here's the reality guy, but for my taste, that's what this is until other stuff pops up during the course of the battle.
Yeah.
And with Sam, when we went down to Jacksonville and he kept throwing it to Jaguars and somehow the Vikings found a way to win thanks to Parker Romo hitting like 4 field goals, that was bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, that happened with the Chickens this year too. He had a patch in there where it was bad, man.
Yep.
And he and they pushed their way through it.
He threw 3 or 4 picks in that Rams game, I think.
4.
And they were still driving to potentially win it at the end.
Same with Sam Darnold here.
Yeah.
Okay, we had that Jacksonville bit. Well, how are you going to push through it? Next game was at Tennessee. He threw it directly to 2 Titans and they both dropped it. Okay, so there's serendipity. That's a positive transpiring from a negative.
And then he threw like 5 against the Falcons a few weeks after that.
But the key here for the Chickens and for the Vikings here in 2024, they fixed whatever was wrong. It didn't linger. They found ways to win a lot of games. That's the whole Kyler Murray conversation until we start playing games, getting steam, hearing things like, wow, he's super tough guy. That was it's like, who kept playing hurt last year? O'Neal? Yeah, O'Neal. Yeah, Brian O'Neal.
Yeah, he was banged up most of the season.
You talk about caring about a team in a non-playoff year. Holy cow. I mean, after Duvernay buzzkilled things, that was the bottom for my taste when it comes to like deflating moments and you're going to have to try to rally and get to the postseason. I mean, O'Neal was banged up pretty much every single day, a fair amount of the end of the season. And there were some of those times before games, I'd get down on the field, 2.5 hours before the game, join Muss 2 hours before the game on the road. There's O'Neal working out, got offensive line coach guy there, got Tyler Williams. They're all looking at it because he had an opportunity to, I'm tapping out, and never took it. Okay, there are players on this team or players in the history of the NFL who I'm tapping out, hand up. Okay, who's Kyler? Because this is a fair part of the conversation with Kyler. When he's hurt, is he injured?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I do. And I just think based on what we've seen from his career, I think that he does not tap out if he's hurt. I mean, in the only 2 instances in which he's missed time has been when he tore up his knee and when he had a season-ending foot injury.
But like I said in the opening segment, reading between the lines, there's some Kyler confusion in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people around the National Football League. It doesn't mean with everything that is glorifying or super negative that I hear or am written. Well, they're not always right, but there are lingering opinions from those whose opinions matter to me, and I don't share names, and I also don't take it and make it a full segment where it's like, got to do a better job pushing through some things. Okay, but that was there.
Right.
That culture, that covenant, that whole thing there is not what they preach it is and will be here. So that's why the new individual, whether they face the slings and arrows of the outrageous negatives who have a right to be sour in the first place, the onus is on him to push through the negative narratives that surround him.
Yes.
Same thing with Sam Darnold. No opinion changes in the covenant. Let's just play the...
Welcome back, 9 to noon. It is News du Nord, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. It's poker, it's blackjack, it's table games all year round, and you're having sips at chips, loving that. Live music, all sorts of events, live racing kicking off in the spring. There's a lot to do down at Canterbury and Shakopee. The first stop, of course, could be CanterburyPark.com. Over the weekend, we did this during the weekend wrap, but you know what? An hour and 50 minutes later, I guess it bears re-mentioning. The Wolves won over the Dubs on Friday night, beat them by 10, 21-point lead at half. Ant went for 42, dig that. But then the marquee matchup of the weekend was yesterday against OKC, and they literally gave the ball and the game away.
Sumu cross court. Here's Dante, 5 to shoot. He's at the hash mark, working against Jared McCain, who reached in, knocked the ball free. It's loose, scooped up by Caruso. Thunder have it on the run. It's Wallace dropping it back. Here's SGA. Driving layup is good. Timeout, Chris Finch. The Wolves' 21st turnover of the game is a costly one. They had a chance to get it down to single digits. Instead, they're down 14 with under 6 to play.
Yeah, that's great. 25 turnovers yesterday for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just outworked, whether it be the lackadaisical nature of controlling the ball. They're outworked on the offensive glass. Jaden McDaniels gets in foul trouble. He only plays 16 minutes. Julius Randle had a sweet game. 32 points for him, led the way. But the turnovers really the story. The 25 turnovers and the 29 Oklahoma City points scored off of those turnovers. So it was a nasty one. And the Minnesota Timberwolves with Phoenix around the corner in just about 7 days. Cool matchup and win over the Nuggets. I think that was the previous Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. You're in third place. You're feeling good about yourselves. And then you proceed to lose your way to now being in the 6th seed in the West. That's how close, how muddy the Western Conference is. And next up, the Phoenix Suns, who are a game and a half behind you. They're in the play-in. I don't think the Suns want to be in the play-in. And that's where the Wolves are headed if they don't find some winning ways starting mañana at Target Center. St. Patty's Day edition. Minnesota Timberwolves and the Phoenix Suns.
Anthony Edwards has said a lot of things after a lot of games. And I'm sure he has proclaimed or shared a version of what he shared yesterday after OKC eyeballed the leader nearing the top of the stretch. The jockey chirped. They shook the proverbial reins and blew by us like we were tied to a post.
Yeah.
They didn't even break a sweat. I mean, it was just so effortless, and we unraveled. After the game, Edwards paraphrasing, it was pretty strong commentary. He's like put the whole thing on himself. He's like, I played them so many times. I know the defense that's coming at me. They never change it. I blew it. I tried too hard, turned the ball over too much. And from a defensive standpoint, I need to play better defense. But he really got on himself hard for they didn't do anything that's different. Okay. They're good. They're really, really, really good. I know what's coming. I blew it. I kept turning the ball over, and that played in the game going the other way. So that was some 10 of 10 contrition from that superstar yesterday.
Doesn't it feel, and Ant is accurate in that analysis, I think, but going back to your conversation with Dane Moore last week, doesn't it feel like you keep hearing that? You know, you just keep hearing
Not
that.
that.
I mean,
no, what you keep hearing was we don't follow the game plan. So it's like when we follow the plan, we're a really, really tough beat.
Right.
DiVincenzo, he amplified it, took it farther than most have this year when he's like, look around this room. There's an unbelievable amount of talent in here, but we don't follow the game plan. It's an I versus a thy. It's a Hal's version of their will versus Finchie's will.
Sure, but
this one was Anthony really, really getting after himself.
Yeah, and that's good. You see that, and you hope there's a trickle down across. I just meant, defense is probably part of the plan, and defense for Ant in particular at various spots, not just against the Thunder, has been subpar. Julius Randle, again, we keep the game he had yesterday was one of his better games all season, and we hadn't seen that in a while. So you get the pulse, but just again, that lack of consistency, and you hear it from the guys that are lamenting after some of these losses, like, yeah, that's a thing I know that's coming. That's a thing I know I have to do.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of hoping for that to change.
Right.
So whether it's following the game plan or defense at large, We're running out of games here in the regular season. Wolves are going to be a playoff team, but let's find our way creeping and crawling back up the charts, please, in the West. Quickly to the Minnesota Wild before we pause.
Stolars couldn't get it with his goal stick. Eriksson Ek, bottom of the right circle, swerves it up high. Hughes loads, fires a drive, blocked. Nyes chips the center, a foot race. Nyes and Hughes. Nyes gets there, and he scores. Matthew Nyes, the former Golden Gopher, seals this one up potentially for Toronto with a half minute to go.
Yeah, the Wild have now 3 straight games. They've failed to get 2 points. They lose in a shootout to Philly. They lose to the Rangers Saturday, the Leafs yesterday. 3 non-playoff teams from the East all roll to Grand Casino Arena and get 2 points, including yesterday. You heard that. The Austin Matthews-list Leafs get out with a 4-2 victory. The Wild, a lot of conversation with Pat Micheletti. Enjoyable chat that was. Next up for them, let's get some points. As in a home and home this week, starting tomorrow. They got Chicago twice, and then the big one on Saturday against the Dallas Stars. And they remain in the 3rd spot in the Central. That does not appear to change anytime soon, but we would like to see our squad on the right side of the scoreline moving forward. And then just to put a cap on News to Nord here, Dave Pasch around the corner, the women's tourney bracket. Men not in the tourney, but that bracket's been released. 1 seeds are Duke, Arizona, Florida, and Michigan. But the women's tourney, the ladies, the Golden Gophers, they're a 4 seed, and they're hosting games this weekend at Williams Arena, 5 p.m. on Friday. The 4-seeded Golden Gophers face number 13 Green Bay. And if they're victorious, Sunday they will take on the winner of Ole Miss and Gonzaga. So congratulations to Women's Hoops for hosting tourney games this weekend at Williams Arena.
Dave Pasch, Fox, is the radio play-by-play voice of the Arizona Cardinals and also calls NBA for ESPN and ABC. He called the Wolves OKC yesterday. Mr. Pasch joins us next as we head into the final hour of the Monday Love Covenant with Nordo and yours truly, Paul Allen, at FM 100.3 KFAN.